This is the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, episode number 100. Hi friends, I'm Curtis J. Washington. And look, the purpose of this podcast is simple. We are constantly being bombarded with messages like, we could be happy if only we had a particular thing, or we could be successful if only we made X amount of dollars, or we could be at peace if only so-and-so loved me. These messages are not only disempowering, but also they are simply not true. This is because it's not about where you are and where you want to be. It's about who you are right now and who you wish to become. Once you know what the ideal you looks like, then you will automatically start becoming aware of what steps you can take right now to move in the right direction. And the goal of this podcast is to help you look within and discover all the love, all the beauty, and all of the unlimited potential that you already possess, and for you to set it free for you and for the world to see. Welcome to the Manifest Your Greatness podcast. Hi everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to join this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, where we explore practical and actionable steps to help you manifest the greatness that you already possess deep inside. And today for our 100th episode, 100, yes, 100, we made it, thanks to all of you. 100th episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, and I really sincerely want to thank you all for making that a reality. And I know you are going to love what we've got on tap for 2024 and beyond. So keep coming back for more inspirational, motivational, and practical information that you can use to level up in any area of your life. Now, for today's episode, we're going to talk about a framework that is going to help you make plans for your goals that are going to help you ensure that you're going to reach your goals, okay? Because let's be honest, we've all been there, right? We've all experienced it. Setting a goal and then for some reason our plans just don't pan out the way we expect. So we find ourselves asking, what did I miss? Where did I go wrong? Let me share one such experience I had with you. About 10 years ago, I decided to run my first half marathon, and I was determined to do it in under 2 hours. That seems like a straightforward goal, right? Run a half marathon in less than 2 hours. So I had a plan, which included eating healthy, going to the gym, essentially everything I thought that would build up my stamina and strength in preparation for this event. And leading up to the event, I could feel myself getting faster and getting stronger during my training sessions. Then finally the day of the event came. But you know what happened? I ended up running the half marathon in 2 hours and 7 minutes. And it left me wondering, why? Despite practicing well, did I fall short on game day? I put in all the work. I ate well, I tried to get enough rest, and on race day, I left everything I had out on the course. So what went wrong? Well, after some introspection, I realized the answer. My approach lacked specificity. I didn't break down my goal into smaller, manageable ones, nor did I set time-based targets. I wasn't tracking my progress, be it my pace increase or monitoring my dietary intake. I was also unrealistic in my approach. I'd given myself just 4.5 weeks to prepare for my first half marathon on the heels of just finishing a 100-mile bike event. So essentially, I needed to transition my physique from that of an endurance cyclist to a long-distance runner in about 4.5 weeks. Furthermore, I had neglected the details. What was the marathon terrain like? What did the weather forecast say? What could I eat beforehand to boost my performance? What should I consume during the race to keep me performing at my peak throughout the event? So today I'm going to explain a framework you can use to evaluate your plans to accomplish goals important to you. And it all boils down to making sure your goals are SMART goals, meaning that your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. If your plan is lacking any of these components, you are making it much more challenging for yourself to reach your goals. By ensuring your goals are SMART, you'll set yourself up for success rather than coming up short. Ultimately, the SMART criteria are crucial because they empower you to turn aspirations into actionable steps. They provide a roadmap that increases your chances of success by keeping you focused, motivated, and accountable during your journey. So let's delve into the SMART criteria today and learn how you can leverage this formula to make your goals not just dreams, but achievable realities. So imagine having a roadmap that guides you step by step toward your dreams. That's what the SMART criteria is all about. As I mentioned before, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. See, setting goals is like planting seeds for your future. And if you want those seeds to grow into something amazing, you've got to water them with clear intentions and actions. That's where being smart comes in. When your goals are specific, it's like having a GPS coordinate for success. Measurable means you've got a way to track your progress, like having milestones along your journey. Achievable and realistic assure you're setting yourself up for success, not biting off more than you can chew. And time-based means incorporating a deadline to keep you focused and motivated. So whether it's about health, personal growth, or any area of your life, using the SMART criteria is like giving your goals a superhero makeover, making them stronger, clearer, and more achievable. So let's look at how to turn your dreams into concrete, doable actions. Now, from the top, as I mentioned, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. So first, let's look at specific, right? Let's get specific about your goal. Specific entails clarity and direction. Being specific helps you clearly define what you want to achieve, setting a clear direction for your efforts. Next, steps towards your goal need to be measurable. By making goals measurable, you create tangible ways to track your progress. This not only keeps you motivated, but also allows for adjustments if needed. Then the goal must be achievable. And by no means am I saying here that you should set mediocre goals. However, ensuring goals are potentially in reach if you put an effective plan in place and faithfully execute that plan can preclude you from setting unattainable targets. It helps you set goals that challenge you but are within your reach, which boosts your confidence and your determination. Lastly, we have the time-based element of the SMART criteria. Time-based goals add a sense of urgency and commitment. Having deadlines keeps you focused and accountable, pushing you to take consistent action. So let's take what we've just discussed and look at an example here. So let's review what a SMART goal might look like for an income-related goal that you might have. So let's say you want to significantly increase your monthly income. Sounds like a respectable goal, right? But how do you know if or when you've accomplished significantly increasing your income? So recall that goals that are smartly crafted are more likely to be accomplished compared to vague, undefined aspirations, right? So let's break it down. First, we need to be specific, right? This should be like looking through a telescope and focusing sharply on a specific star, knowing exactly what you want to achieve. Instead of saying, I want to significantly increase my monthly income, let's say, I want to increase my monthly income by $5,000 per month. That's getting specific. What do we want to do? We want to increase our monthly income by how much? $5,000 per month. Now, how do we measure our progress towards that goal? What's our progress tracker look like in this case? With a progress tracker, you can measure or track your progress. And what's important about this, of course, is that by tracking your progress, you can evaluate where you started, how far you've come, and how much further you still need to go in order to reach your goal. Now, progress can be tracked through numbers, with time, or by other metrics, as long as it's clear to you. For example, if your goal is to increase your monthly income by $5,000, perhaps you could start by deciding the action steps you are going to take in order to increase your income by $5,000 per month. You may have a step called identify the first income generating investment I'm going to make. Another goal might be deciding how much money I'm going to invest. Next, perhaps your milestone could be something like estimate how much per month this investment is going to generate in terms of income or your return on investment. And one last specific goal you may have early on is to identify where you will source the funds needed to make your first investment. Now, all the objectives we've identified here along the way to your goal are quite specific, right? You'll know for certain whether or not you've achieved one of these milestones. And because the milestones are clear, it's going to be that much easier for you to hold yourself accountable. Next, let's see if your goal is achievable. This means that you should be setting a goal that's challenging yet doable. You want a goal that pushes you, a goal that tests your resolve, but at the same time, it has to be possible. If you've never completed a goal that resulted in increasing your income by, say, $1,000 per month before, then setting an initial goal to increase your monthly income by $5,000 a month within just a few months might not be achievable because you'll have to first learn what's required to accomplish the goal before you can take any measurable strides towards it. And acquiring that knowledge is going to take a little bit of time. And that leads us to the R in the SMART goals framework, which is that the goal must be realistic. Now, many people psych themselves out of going after and ultimately achieving their goals because they can't see beyond their circumstances. They lack creativity and they have a fixed mindset. This is why a growth mindset is so key when it comes to setting goals and creatively and persistently finding ways to reach them. And given enough time to acquire the required skills and resources, and by standing unwaveringly dedicated, there are very few goals out there that are truly unachievable. If increasing your monthly income by $5,000 per month seems impossible to you, it's likely because you haven't yet acquired the investment skills required to increase your monthly income by $5,000 yet. The key word here, though, is yet. Setting realistic goals should always include a commitment to becoming the you necessary to achieve the goal. So don't lower your bar if you don't know how to reach your goal. Instead, commit to increasing your skill set and upgrading your mindset to the level required to achieve it. And finally, we have the T in SMART goals, which stands for time-based. Now, I've hinted at this a bit earlier when we touched upon how to ensure a goal is achievable and realistic. Time is such a key element because it can help you reevaluate and even calibrate what goal is and is not achievable and realistic. When you set a specific time frame for achieving your goal, it gives your goal additional necessary structure. When I was a vice president at Goldman Sachs, I used to use a Gantt chart to plan out project timelines. The Gantt charts would start with a project kickoff and end with project completion. For the completion, we would first determine what the deliverables were or what we needed to mark as complete before we could declare the project goal a success. Once we knew that, we would set a tentative project completion date based on the perceived time required to complete each of the milestones, which were essentially mini goals that needed to be reached in order to complete the project as a whole. And once we had identified the milestones, we were able to create what was called a critical path for the project. This was a line you could draw that connected each project milestone in the sequential order that it had to be completed in order to ultimately complete the project. Now, one of the things that all experienced project managers know is that things can pop up at any time that could potentially delay a project. Key project members might get sick or a family emergency could come up. Perhaps there's a supply chain delay resulting in necessary parts not arriving in time for a critical build. Although it's impossible to predict every setback, project managers do their best by including some slack in a project, which is excess time set aside along the critical path just in case a delay pops up. This is the same way you should think about time management when it comes to your SMART goal. So if we go back to our original 4 milestones that we identified for the early stages of our goal to increase our monthly income by $5,000 per month, here's what we said we were going to do. We started with a step called decide the action steps you are going to take in order to increase your monthly income by $5,000 per month. So How do we include time management in this step? Simple. We specify a time by which to complete the task. So after taking a step back and considering some of the tasks involved in completing that step, you set a challenging yet achievable completion date for the step. So you could rephrase, decide the action steps I'm going to take in order to increase my monthly income by $5,000 per month to decide the action steps I'm going to take in order to increase my monthly income by $5,000 per month by February 15th. And simply using the same approach, you would repeat the process for the remaining steps you had identified until your newly identified time-based objectives look like this. Number 1, decide the action steps I'm going to take in order to increase my monthly income by $5,000 per month by February 15th. Number 2, identify the first income-generating investment I'm going to make by February 20th. Number 3, estimate how much per month this investment is going to generate in terms of income, or my return on investment, by February 28th. And number 4, identify where I will source the funds needed to make my first investment by March 15th. So having time-based goals like this allows you to evaluate progress and success, making it easier to stay on schedule. Now, all the objectives we've identified here along the way to your goal are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. Specificity sharpens focus, measurability allows for tracking progress, achievability and realism ensure practicality, and time-based adds urgency and commitment. Implementing the SMART criteria empowers you to set goals with clarity, creating a pathway that maximizes your potential for success and growth in various facets of your life. So my challenge for you today is take a look at one of your current goals. Perhaps one you feel is slipping and sliding along at risk of coming off the rails altogether. And integrate this SMART criteria so you can leverage all the benefits provided by this structured and highly effective approach to goal setting that transforms aspirations into achievable realities. Thank you so much for taking the time to join this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, and I look forward to spending time with you again on an episode in the near future. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast. If you liked what we've explored on this episode, then you'll love the Manifest Your Greatness coaching program. The Manifest Your Greatness coaching program is uniquely tailored to help support you on your journey to become the absolute best version of yourself. So if you are committed to taking the steps required to significantly and permanently level up in any area of your life, visit manifestyourgreatness.com/contact. Again, that's manifestyourgreatness.com/contact and schedule your free consultation call today. Talk soon.